stuff. Mainly, we need to look into this Carl Jobs. How do you pronounce this dude? How do you pronounce his name? I legitimately have no idea. I guess if I just look up, I think his channel is literally just called Carl Jobs. So this is the video that he posted. He's done a few other videos like this. He's talked about like speculative gaming markets. He's talked about Billy Mitchell and a bunch of other people. He low-key does drama stuff, but most of the time he does speedrun news. Like a new speedrun happened and they won they did such and such level faster than anyone has ever done that level before. So every now and then he'll pop up with some drama stuff.
All the money goes to the Open Hand Foundation, an organization that we started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do.
I'm gonna rewatch this because people have been saying some weird stuff about this video, and I did watch this video, but I will admit I was not sober. I try not to be sometimes.
Their thing.
This is Gerard Khalil, well known online as the Completionist. For more than a decade, his YouTube series where he completes games 100% has been very successful, and he has built a very large and respected brand. Gerard is very well liked within the gaming community, and I myself have been a fan of his YouTube content for many years. In 2018, Gerard helped create the Indieland Charity Marathon. This is where indie developers get to come together and showcase their games. It gave a spotlight to lesser-known developers, and it also raised money for a good cause. All of the money raised by Indieland goes to the Open Hand Foundation, a non-profit organization that helps support dementia research. The Open Hand Foundation
Let's go ahead and pop this open all the way.
Gerard and his family
I'll turn on
in
closed caption.
2003, after Gerard's mother was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. However, it didn't officially become a non-profit until 2014,
Skip around a bit.
after she unfortunately passed away. Indieland has been quite successful in raising money for charity. They generally raise over $100,000
I mean, all of this
per
so
year,
far is
and
relevant
according
to the
their website,
discussion.
have raised over $600,000.
I am honestly a little bit curious as well, because people are saying that Carl accused him of taking the money and running. Which, when I watched this video, originally I did not hear that bit, but again, I was not sober when I watched this video. So I feel like we need to get some key context.
Very popular figures in the gaming realm, and even celebrities. From YouTube influencers to gaming developers and publishers, many parties actively get involved to help raise money. According to their website, the Open Hand Foundation supports the University of California, San Francisco, and in 2020, Gerard said that
fuck dementia. Like, dementia sucks ass. Also, Matt Pat spotted.
Was one of the UCSF's main support partners.
Currently,
the video is called "This Charity is Lying to You." I'm gonna see if there's any information in here. He's been keeping and storing donations for 10 years. I don't know what it originally said.
working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners. Going into all of this.
Beyond this, according to Gerard, Open Hand raises money for organizations all over the world.
My father, my brother, and I started a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation that raises money for dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world.
However, the truth is that since its inception in 2014, the Open Hand Foundation has not contributed a single cent to any organization. For the past 10 years,
which is true,
raised over $600,000, and it's all just sitting in their bank account. Despite Open Hand saying the money goes to help fund research, and despite the fact that everyone believes their money is going to a worthwhile cause, this is simply not the case. Because Open Hand is a non-profit, their tax filings are publicly available. Since 2014, their yearly filings have all shown the same behavior. For example, in 2022, they received $117,000 in contributions. They paid $11,000 in expenses, leaving them with $106,000 in excess revenue.
Sure, and like operation and administrative expenses, they gotta have the room, they gotta fly people in, they gotta have prizes, they gotta have stuff like that. That sounds okay.
This cash was then added to
Is the charity is not that is it's not a clickbait title though, because the charity is lying by saying they're donating it. They're not. That's correct.
their existing stockpile of cash, which now totals $655,000. Every year since 2014, it's been the same. Money is received, some expenses are deducted, and the cash is just left in their account. Normally in these filings, a non-profit is supposed to state where their profit goes. Obviously, if a charity raises money, they are supposed to give it to an organization. However, this has never happened with the Open Hand Foundation. In 10 years of filings, they have not dispersed a single dollar to anyone. They have kept everything for themselves. This is obviously alarming. Their website clearly states they support the UCSF, and they have a quote from David.
See, that is a lie. Like saying that they're donating it is a lie.
Kessler, the
So
dean of
they
the
are
UCSF
lying.
School
That's
of
correct.
Medicine, thanking them for their gift. But the interesting thing about David Kessler is that he was fired as the dean of the UCSF School of Medicine in 2007, 7 years before Open Hand was even officially registered. I needed to find out what was happening, so I contacted Open Hand and asked them why they haven't made any contributions in the past 10 years. And this is the response I got, which was written by Jacques Khalil, Gerard's brother. They claim that before their official registration,
I'm actually going to back up and read that whole statement because I don't know if he's picking out stuff.
made any contributions in the past 10 years. And this is the response.
Dear Carl, thank you for your inquiry regarding the financial activities of the Open Hand Foundation. Regarding your concerns, we're glad to offer clarity in our operations and mission. Open Hand was established to champion neurological research with particular influence in stuff like FTD. Never heard of it, but sure. It's somehow related to dementia, I guess. Don't know the words. Well, he didn't actually buy any of the games from the 3DS shop using this money. That's the thing. So here's how I understand this situation. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna make a graph. Okay. So paint. All right. So here's what I think is happening. I don't know why it's this way, but this is what's happening. All right. So they've got the charity. It's called Open Hand, right? So we're gonna just put Open Hand here. Open Hand. Bring this down like a notch. So Open Hand, and then you've got donators. You got I'm gonna just call him completionist. I don't think I spelled that right, but fuck it. And then we've got I forgot what that college they were saying, but college. All right, so what's happening is not that he's taking, it's not this. It's literally just this. Donators give money to Open Hand. It's not donators give money to Open Hand and then it goes to the UCSF or whatever. And it's not donators give money to Open Hand and it goes to completionist. It's just donators give money to Open Hand. Open Hand isn't spending it on stuff. The money isn't going to illegitimate places. Like spending $10,000 on a charity sounds like. Now, that being said, they are saying we are funding this college, but that's not what happens.
Response I got, which was written by Jacques.
So he's not spending the money. That the people who are freaking out saying that he's spending the money on like whatever, like on 3DS like shop stuff or whatever, that's not what's happening. Yeah, I'm gonna read Great Sphinx's tweet here in a minute, because Great Sphinx was on the board for the 501c3 that we had for our charities. So he would know a bit more about the particulars of those. Since our official designation or registration as a foundation, we have been since our foundation's inception, we've been dedicated to ensuring that our fundraising efforts are channeled effectively towards this cause. So far, fine. Since our official registration as a foundation, we've been evaluating potential beneficiaries who align with our vision, entities that could use our funds efficiently and effectively, with a substantial portion of it being diverted to administrative expenses without a lot of it going, because like stuff like St. Jude's has a huge administrative overhead, and that's a thing that you look for when you're looking into charities and stuff. This vigilant approach by selecting our beneficiaries was reinforced by a personal commitment to honor the memory of an individual who we created the foundation for. Prior to our official registration as a foundation, we donated body parts for research. The fuck? And made financial contributions to an institution that, in our view, made insufficient progress in the fight against these debilitating conditions. I guess, like, they gave up their mom's remains in order to do that? Which, I mean, I guess if that helps, like, dementia research and stuff, like, someone's got to do a thing. Okay, fair enough. In our view, the insufficient progress in a fight against these debilitating conditions. This prior experience has taught us the importance of careful consideration in our partnerships, and is the reason why we continue to search for a proper partner and receipt for our donations. Yeah, if she was a donator, like, yeah, in America, you have to have, like, you have to choose that you want to be an organ donor, and then when you die, they take whatever organs they can, and they put them into the registry so that way people can get organs if they need them. Not enough people are on that list. I need to update that next time I go and get my driver's license fixed. Prior to our financial registration as a foundation, we donated body parts. This prior experience has taught us the importance of careful consideration of our partnerships, and the reason that we continue to search for a proper partner in receipt of our donations. I'd like to address the regulatory framework of the 501c3 where organizations like ours operate. We are subject to stringent regulations and are required to maintain compliance within federal laws governing charitable organizations. Okay. Our operations and financial activities are transparent to regulatory bodies including the IRS, and are subject to review and assurance adherence to these laws. Should there be any irregularities or misuse of the funds, agencies such as the Department of Justice would intervene. Our continued operation without such intervention serves as a testament to our compliance and integrity to our financial practices. So basically, the government's not after us, so we're clearly doing everything above board. Okay. That is a thing you could say. I mean, I guess it could be true. We understand that with any charitable organization like ours, accountability is paramount. And we remain meticulous in our financial decisions, upholding a standard that prioritizes operational frugality to ensure the majority of funds are available for our cause. We have actively searched for a partnership that meets our high standards. We welcome any recommendations from you may have for financial benefactors. If you're aware of any organizations or research entities that might share our dedication, could benefit from our support, we are more than willing to consider them in good faith. Could you recommend any organizations or research entities that share a vision? What? Okay. We do know what Carl's email said because it's right back here. Here it is. According to your 990-PF filings, your organization has been raising funds since 2014 and has amassed $500,000 in cash. However, you've not made a single contribution in that entire period. This is highly disturbing. Can you please comment on why you've been running charity events raising over $500,000, and yet have not been dispersing the revenue generated by to any benefactors. Please respond as soon as possible. Regards, Carl. Okay.
Before their official registration as a foundation, they donated body parts for research. A strange claim that I don't believe can be true of a charity. That's likely referring to a private and personal matter within their family and would have nothing to do with Openhand. They claim they made financial contributions to an institution that made insufficient progress. Essentially, Openhand is claiming
Whomst would be nice.
that because they made donations before they were registered in 2014, which we cannot confirm because it wasn't public at the time, this means that it is acceptable to not pass along any of the money the public has given them until they find someone they deem worthy. The obvious question arises. If they have been looking for a beneficiary since 2014, why has Gerard been claiming they support organizations across the world, including the UCSF and the Alzheimer's Association?
We are raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
Why is he claiming the money?
Okay, so here's my theory, and I'm actually going to go read Great Sphinx's tweet now. So Great Sphinx was on the board for the Variety is Hope charity, right? Regarding recent charity drama stuff, so this, as someone who has been on the board for a 501c3, it is not outlandish for a director to not 100% know about the finances are being handled. One of several. I just want to look at the notifications. I don't actually want to post a... God damn, I don't know how to use Twitter. That being said, it's extremely dishonest to list the benefactors on your website during events and then not transfer any of the funds you raised to said benefactors. That's kind of the bit that's weird to me. Like, let's say that, like, these charities are... Like, he mentioned some charities here.
Research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF,
like USF. Similar to? Or including? It's a weird phrasing, but all right. So my guess, the best possible scenario for the completionists here is that they told him the money was going to that. He was on the board of directors, did not have the information on whether or not that money was actually getting donated, and was saying that because he had been lied to. His beard is really shaggy. You're used to my really, like, cleaned up beard. As far as operating costs go, from the ones I've seen from the filings seem fairly reasonable for 2 events this group operated. Just paying for the accounting for and filing for a year as a nonprofit would cost a few thousand. Those numbers are what I would expect from a volunteer organization. I'm reading over Great Sphinx stuff here because this is, I think, important. So that means no one's taking a salary or making frivolous purchases. Personally, if I was involved, I would either I would be livid and would either make it right as soon as possible or resign to make the situation known. Technically not illegal, but still cause for fraud investigation, in my opinion. As far as I know, as far as why this is happening, it could just be negligence and not understanding how to operate a 501c3, which is a charity, obviously. Many people are involved, thought you'd just pay accountants. The money magically went where you were told, everyone went. Likely did not regularly meet as a board. You have no idea how many fucking meetings there were for Variety is Hope. Like, it was like every 3 months. Like, there wouldn't even be a charity happening yet. The charity would be like at the end of the year, like a full year out. They were doing like the day after a charity event went off, they would have a meeting. Personally think that with what little response there has been bad. It feels dishonest and deflecting. There are plenty of good organizations out there where the money could go. Like, I don't know, the ones listed as benefactors already, just my 2 cents. I don't have any personal involvement. Bottom line is that they have a chance to make things right, and I hope they do, but I think people are thinking they're skimming off the top or taking money for themselves to understand how 50C3s work. I hope they make the right choice either way. It's just assuming that they aren't doing any fraudulent accounting with their filings. The money actually has been sitting there. If it isn't, then the case... if that isn't the case, and then they're reporting assets they don't have, then Twitter's opinion is going to be the least of their worries. Right.
FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
Why is he claiming the money is actually given to people who know how to use it?
And all that.
My bet is that he actually was thinking the money was going there. And I just have like a positive opinion of the completionist like prior to this event, and Carl. So I'm tempted to side with both of them at the same time.
Money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do their thing.
Regardless, this whole situation looks sussy as fuck. This is not a great like vibe.
Why is he claiming they are helping the victims and even the families of people with dementia?
Guys, welcome to Indieland. For those of you who don't know what we're doing, we're raising money for dementia research and prevention, helping victims who not only have dementia, but the families of those around them.
Why is
There are no... There's not been a tweet about this from his account since this got posted.
OpenHand still claiming it supports the UCSF on its website? OpenHand assured me they have done nothing illegal, because if they had, they would have been caught by the IRS. However, I never mentioned legality in my original email. I'm not sure why they brought up the IRS, but this assumes the IRS is some kind of omnipresent being that immediately detects fraud the moment it happens and intervenes. This notion is simply untrue. Many crimes
I'm curious about he definitely shouldn't say something, because assuming that my theory is right, that he didn't know that this was happening, that the money wasn't actually going out. Like, I can't imagine that someone whose mom died to a disease, he doesn't seem like the guy, you know? And again, this just is me feeling like I want to like stick up for him. I have a feeling that just he didn't know what was going on.
Go undetected, and unless you do something especially egregious on your filings, nothing will be flagged to the IRS.
And that much is true regardless.
These filings don't seem to be done properly, and they aren't even signed, which is definitely a legal requirement. But now that they brought it up, if the filings do show an accurate account of what happened, I do think this is illegal and would be considered charity fraud. Generally, taking money by dishonest means is considered fraud. You just can't tell people to give you money under a false pretense. And you can't wait 10 years until you're caught before doing something with it either.
That is really... It's just really weird that it has been just sitting there for, since 2014, which is about 10 years.
In this case, OpenHand lied for many years saying that it was funding organizations it wasn't.
And that much is true. At some point, someone said this is where the money is going. Which to me just is like, where was that money going? I mean, nowhere, apparently, but just like, whoever said that is definitely doing some shit they shouldn't. Whoever told the completionist that the money was going somewhere, that was posting on the website, someone was doing something.
It was using those lies in order to get money from the public. OpenHand finishes by saying they continue to search for a partnership that meets their standards, and if I have any recommendations, they will consider it. I don't know why they are asking me for my input. OpenHand has already been lying for 10 years, saying that it's been going to the UCSF, the Alzheimer's Association, and other organizations across the world. Why not send it there? OpenHand has had 10 years to find somewhere to send the money to, and I'm sure there are plenty of acceptable organizations that would gladly welcome its contribution. Truthfully, I just don't buy their explanation. If they really were looking for someone to give it to, they would have been honest about that to the public. They wouldn't have lied and said they were giving it to someone they weren't. Why are they still doing fundraisers when they admit here, if you choose to believe them, they have no idea where that money will go? Why do they not ask the public where to send the money? It is their money, after all. People have been donating their hard-earned money for 10 years. They all believe their money is going to a good cause. People have been championing Indieland for years, declaring they are fighting dementia. Gaming developers, YouTube influencers, celebrities have all donated their time, money, and effort to this event, thinking it was doing something when it just wasn't. Sponsors have invested money and equipment into a charity that did nothing with the money. I responded to OpenHand hoping to get clarification on a few details, and asking if they
Thank you for the detailed response. I would greatly appreciate if you could clarify a few things for me. Why do you have UCSF listed as a benefactor on your website if OpenHands does not contribute to them? Is USSF the institution you reference that you made contributions to before the official registration that you believe was making insufficient progress? If so, why do you believe that they made insufficient progress? Would you also mind clarifying what you mean by what you mean when you say you donated body parts? Lastly, do you believe that donators have the right to know that their donations have not gone towards dementia research as they are led to believe? Indieland has been running since 2018. Do you think it's appropriate to continue to ask for money when it hasn't contributed any of it or even knows where that money will go? Which is honestly a really, like, it's a rough question, but it is a good question.
thought it was appropriate to continue to ask for money when they aren't contributing any of it. They reiterated they believe their behavior was legal and ethical. Apparently me taking issue with the fact they've lied for years and kept all of the money they have ever received is both unwarranted and unfounded. Clearly from these statements, OpenHand feels as though this is acceptable behavior from a charity. They closed by saying they do not intend to issue further public comments on these matters,
I would like to actually see that full note.
confirming that from OpenHand's perspective, this isn't an issue worthy of their time or comment. The last thing I needed to do was to talk to Gerard and get his side of the story, and with the help of Muta from Some Ordinary Gamers, we set up a call. According to Gerard, he didn't find out the funds had not been forwarded to any organizations until 2022, and claims that since that time, he has been actively trying to find somewhere to send the money.
You weren't notified that the money was sitting there the whole time?
I knew it was sitting there at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. Like, I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet, and that.
Okay, so if they've done a charity this year or last year, then and he claimed that the money was going there, that's weird.
That's what made me go, that's not fucking cool, and that's when I got personally involved to move it. And
Did anyone?
2021 last year, 2022.
Yeah, did anyone tell you that the money was going somewhere before then? Were you being misled?
No one.
Why, hold up, what?
Yeah, did anyone tell you that the money was going somewhere before then? Were you being misled?
No one told me anything. I assumed that it was all going to a charity, and I assumed incorrectly.
Whether
He mentioned specific charities, though.
or not you believe this will be up to you. However, I will note that even if he is telling the truth, despite learning this in 2022, his behavior did not change. In 2023, he continued to make claims that OpenHand was supporting the UCSF, the Alzheimer's Association, AFTD, and many more, a year after learning that it wasn't.
Trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
These statements were from just several weeks ago. Gerard has also been a director of OpenHand since 2014.
And again, like, it's important to note that, like, Great Sphinx said that you could actually be in a situation where you don't know. I will note that it actually says that no one's gotten paid anything, which is important.
So it would take a lot to convince me he didn't know what was happening with the money he was raising. Ask yourself this question. If you raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity, do you think you would be interested in where that money was going? Would you at least check to see if the money was being sent? No matter the answer, you would still be completely...
I'll be honest. No. I would assume that like things would be done the way I'd want them to be done. Organizations like is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Responsible for what happened with that money. The most important question at this time is whether or not the money is still there, and Gerard assures us they still have the full amount of money and are looking to donate it as soon as possible. At this stage, we have no reason to believe this isn't the case. However, due to OpenHand's past dishonesty, I think we do need concrete proof of this donation when it happens. Unfortunately, given that the
I mean, I've never been on as a director or anything. Whenever we did charity events, I just was a body that would help with the actual raising of the money. So I never got into that nitty gritty stuff because from what I understand, it's fucking hard. It's not just the money goes straight to where you want it to. Like, I remember hearing from Hootie that the donations of like lower amounts were like a bit of a strain, where it'd be like $1 amount that would get sent to PCRF would be like, you know, they have to make some sort of like paperwork per transaction. So like $1 is a transaction that they have to like make a note of and do some work on. I don't know the specifics because I didn't mess with that, but so like it's just finicky. And I have really bad depression and just like I can't be trusted to be around for everything. Every transaction has a certain amount of work that needs to be done just to be able to get that money to the charity. Our thing went straight to them. I don't think it ever touched our hands, which is nice. So I get why he wasn't checking in. And I don't feel like that Carl is trying to put him in a box here. I feel like Carl just doesn't know that element of it. That he doesn't know stuff about 501c3s.
money hadn't been contributed for so many years, and any contribution done now is in the wake of this being uncovered. It's hard to know if this is simply a response to being caught, or if they truly were planning on donating the money at some point.
I mean, 10 years is a long time to sit on money.
All of the money OpenHand has ever received is sent to the organizations it was supposed to. That being said, even if all of the money is still there, the actions of OpenHand were unethical and almost certainly illegal. And as unfortunate as this situation is, it does need to be called out, and there do need to be repercussions. It shouldn't need to be stated that lying about making charitable contributions in order to get money is not a good thing, no matter what the context. I also think there needs to be a full audit of OpenHand by an independent third party. Some ordinary gamers is also doing a more thorough breakdown of the situation, so if you want to learn more about how to look up the public filings of non-profits and what to look for, and to learn more about their legal obligations, I will put a link to that in the description. I will also put a link to the tax filings of OpenHand along with their full statements. Please don't let this dissuade you from donating to a good cause in the future. There are plenty of legitimate online fundraisers that support long-established reputable charities, like Games Done Quick or Desert Bus for Hope. In any case, I do encourage more of you to learn to do your own research into charities, just to ensure you know where your money is going. Or alternatively, if you do want to donate, do it directly to the organizations you wish to support.
Okay. So I do also want to play this thing that I found on Twitter. Assuming that none of this is AI generated, which nowadays you never fucking know, but they're saying that this is okay. Let's watch this thing because I think that this is also important.
Money is still sitting in the account.
To answer your question, Carl, I don't have an answer. You know, I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations about working with them. I don't really have a true answer for that, and that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. But, you know, again, it doesn't fucking matter. You guys are going to say what you're going to say, and I can't stop it, but the important thing is that all the money...
I mean, he hasn't said... So, from what I got from Carl's videos, he didn't say anything incorrectly.
Still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board.
Like it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that.
Yeah,
And that's the thing about 501Cs is that, like, if I did any of that, the minute I did any malpractice of that nature, literally the government would be like, hey, we're coming after you. And that's,
Right.
you know, at least legally speaking, everything's above board. And I understand that the question isn't so much legality and so much more about morality in, you know, me advertising this event and showing people sponsors and all that stuff.
So, like, it's suspicious, but I don't think that he's robbed the charity. I think that someone might be, allegedly, but I don't think it's him, because he sounds like he's generally, like, confused. Do you know what I mean? Like, he seems upset about the situation, and not in a, like, I got caught way. And again, this could be serious cope. I used to watch The Completionist. Not so much anymore, because after a while, it's like, yeah, I spent 3 billion hours playing this game, and I completed all these side missions and stuff, and turns out it wasn't fucking worth my time. It's like every completionist episode. And it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, it's a potential legal problem. Like, it definitely is, like, sus, but I feel like that this is something that needs to be dealt with through, like, the IRS or someone who's doing an audit or something. This is not Bernasco Witch says, feels like people are so used to YouTubers and streamers performing malicious fuck-ups that to them, an incompetent and honest mistake feels out of the question, and everything needs to be malicious in their eyes. And also, just like, it's so much more fun to be like, oh, this guy sucks! He was stealing from charity! Fuck that guy! No one has said that. No one aside from deranged lunatics on Twitter have actually said that. We watched all of Carl's video. I even stopped to read this stuff, and he doesn't actually say that. At a few points he goes, if that money is actually there, which is impossible for him to know, and it is honestly very suspicious to be like, I don't know? Like, it's fucking weird that this money is just, like, $500,000 is just sitting in a bank account somewhere? I would say whoever the treasurer is in a lot of fucking trouble. You know? I feel like that people probably just maybe watched the first couple of minutes of this and thought that he was stealing it, you know? But that doesn't appear to be what the case is. The treasurer for this organization absolutely needs to be thrown under the bus, because they were definitely doing some sussy shit. Because this isn't, you know, and that doesn't mean they did anything illegal, but it's fucking weird behavior. Fucking really weird behavior. So yeah, we're not going to get into the whole, like, oh, is he accusing him? Because he fucking didn't. Now, someone was saying that Carl is racist, and I wonder if that is also a Twitter take. I'm wondering where the fuck that comes from, because, like, I watch Carl. Like, he's one of the people I'm subscribed to on YouTube. I haven't heard him say anything racist ever. I wouldn't be subscribed to him. So, I mean, if you got some fucking proof of that, I will gladly take that and run with that as well. But I don't know where that's coming from. Nowhere did I get the sense that he was racist. No. British accent increases racism suspicion by 10% naturally. So does the southern, like, Texas accent. You real get into that drawl, and anything you say sounds a little bit racist. Let me tell you something about black people. Very nice. Like, even though I said something nice there, it still sounds bad, right? He had a gamer moment on Discord that he said he was joking. Is this in text? Let's say he did something racist before. Does that have anything to do with this coverage? That's a solid point, too. Yeah, I'm going to go with yikes if true. Carl Jobs, racist. Just pull up his Wikipedia thing. In 2021, Job stated in a speedrunning podcast called the Legends Podcast in September 21, Legends co-host Tomato Anus announced the cancellation of future episodes and taking down of previous episodes after Jobs was accused of racism. In a video, he denies the allegations, stating that they were taken out of... Why is his name Tomato Anus? Here's the source on that. I'm being sued and canceled. Okay.
Hello, you absolute legends. The madman finally did it. On the 13th of September 2021, the speedrunner Carl Jobst achieved this lawsuit. Until now onto this cancellation. A few people in the speedrunning community have been trying to cancel me ever since I started making content on YouTube, for reasons we will get into in a moment. Until now, it has never really impacted me, and I chose to ignore it, because I felt like it was spurred on by bad faith actors and trolls who simply didn't like me and were trying to find ways to make me look bad. But recently, I did get impacted. I had just started a podcast with another speedrunning content creator, Tomato Anus, and we had recorded a few episodes. Then, last week, he got sent screenshots from someone hoping to make him disassociate with me, which he did, announcing his decision on Twitter. This tweet then gets posted on Reddit, which is where things get crazy. People flock to the topic, posting insane, made-up, false claims that just blew my mind. Interspersed is some valid criticism, but from what I can tell, it appears to be mostly an intentional smear campaign by a group of people hoping to cancel me. And the crazy thing is that people who are reading the comments just accept everything as fact without asking any questions. So how and why did this happen? It goes back to November of 2018, when another GoldenEye speedrunner, R-White Goose, got banned from AGDQ after a massive collection of screenshots was made public, showing him saying terrible things in his Discord.
Do you know you don't have a streaming category?
And early 2018. And these weren't just terrible things, they were really, really terrible. Goose was ostracized from the community and labeled a Nazi.
How is any of this relevant to the completionist case? It's 100% not. I'm just curious because someone brought it up and I'm like, what is this? Because I feel like that, like, people like to throw this shit out there and I'd like to know what we're talking about. You know?
Relates to me because I associated with Goose online, and in the screenshot dump, I was in one of the screenshots. In the album of 150 pictures, I appeared in one. What I said wasn't good, and I will talk about it later in the video, but the thought process for some people was that because Goose said bad things in his Discord, that made his Discord a Nazi Discord. And because I appeared in one of the screenshots, that meant that I was in a Nazi Discord. Essentially, it is guilt by association. I interacted with someone who said terrible things, and I was in his Discord, so by extension,
what did you say?
The truth, however...
Okay. Any thoughts on Apollo's video or his screenshots? What are your stance now? Oh my god! What did you fucking say? All right, the thing is, I don't want an apology to be half-baked, and I want to do it once, not pull some low... Okay, fine, whatever.
Environment,
wait.
and I left. Even if I were in there the entire time, which is not true, it's extremely disingenuous to claim that people know what is said in every Discord server they are in. I'm in 50 servers, and I only really read one, which is my own. I have no idea what is said
I
in other
barely read
servers,
any Discord.
nor should I be expected to. There were thousands of people in that server because Goose was one of the biggest speedrunning content creators at the time, and most people had no idea what was going on. I did eventually find out everything shortly before things became public, but by this point in time, Goose was coming.
To be fair, I was in a Warhammer Discord and some people got into a beef like a couple weeks ago. And like I didn't know about it until I showed up on Saturday and it was like a thing.
Coming to me and asking for advice about how to apologize, disavow what he had previously said, and make a positive change. I agreed to help him, and he seemed sincere. I have chat logs from before everything became public and before he was banned of me advising him to apologize, close his Discord, disavow what he had said, and I was also helping him to make amends with people he had wronged in the past. We had even organized a live stream on the 30th of November where he was going to publicly apologize.
Okay. So that's good, right?
And disavow everything. But 2 days before that happened, everything blew up. Even though the truth is that I wasn't in the Discord, I didn't know what was being said, and when I found out, I was actively telling Goose to disavow everything and apologize. The narrative that they are trying to spin is the complete opposite. They are claiming that not only was I in the Discord, but I also knew and even endorsed what was said. I know there is a percentage of the population that thinks you should completely cut off people who have bad views, but I don't agree with that. For most of my life, I've wanted to be a psychologist. I studied psychology in university. I wouldn't be a very good psychologist if I refused to speak with
You're
or
not a
help people
psychologist.
with unhealthy ideas. Goose himself even stated afterwards that my role was always to try to help him move forward in a more positive way.
Who in the community has influenced you the most? This is all from a guy named Xfinity. Who in the community has influenced the most? Honestly, like, it really has to be Carl. Carl has always been there for me when I fucked up, and he's always been willing to teach me things and lead me on a better way. And that's not just like, you know, I know people have asked about me and his stream over the past couple of months, and he said, yeah, I talk with Goose every day, and like, you know, we're gonna
Go and buy this while we're waiting for them to get to the fucking point
and move forward in a good manner. But even in the past, when I've fucked up, he's you know, been there for me and tried to steer me down the straight and narrow, right? So
Now, just for full transparency, I'm not friends with Goose. I haven't associated or even spoken with him in well over 2 years, but I didn't make a big spectacle out of it or virtue signal on Twitter, and I had absolutely no interest in talking about it until I was forced. Yet people to this day continue to spread false information about our relationship.
Well, tell what the fucking thing happened was.
That are being spread. People were saying that I pressured my wife into getting breast implants. When I read this, I was blown away because my wife doesn't have breast implants, nor would I ever suggest or want this. I wouldn't change a single thing about my wife. I had absolutely no idea where this was coming from. Then I see this screenshot being shared around as proof.
Okay, here we go. Finally, thank you. Okay, so Doris is getting some surgery today. I'm at the hospital today and tomorrow. Nothing major, but I'll be back. Oh, damn. Well, I hope it all goes well. Wishes you both the best. Everything all right? She's all right? She had to get something removed. Hope everything goes fine for you. Thanks, man. If YouTube keeps getting bigger, the titty implants are going to happen. That seems like a joke. "12-inch cock and double D tits would make Carl unstoppable." It also could be that he's getting titty implants.
Now, I must warn you that my sense of humor is crude and immature when I'm around friends, despite what I may put across on this channel. If you don't like crude humor, I apologize, and I wish I didn't have to share this, but unfortunately I don't have a choice given the disgusting and vile nature of these accusations.
Yeah, here I was thinking that you were finally getting the titty implants. The joke seems to be that he's going to get a cock extension and tits. He's going to have double D tits And a 12-inch cock.
In my Discord, I mentioned that I was at the hospital because my wife had to get surgery, and someone said, "Here I was thinking you were finally getting the titty implants." Someone else said, "12-inch cock and double D tits would make Carl unstoppable." And I replied, "If YouTube keeps getting bigger, the titty implants are gonna happen." Even without the context, it's obvious they are talking about me getting breast implants, and it's incredibly disingenuous to take it any other way. I had a running gag on my Twitch channel that the only way my stream was ever going to grow was by getting breast implants. I even set up a mock donation incentive. It never had anything to do with my wife. This theme of taking jokes that me and my viewers make around each other and warping them to mean something else is standard practice for these people. Another running gag on my Twitch channel is penis jokes. Almost all of the emotes on my Twitch channel are eggplant related. The humor lies in the fact that it's so ridiculous and so stupid. It's parody. It's self-aware in its absurdity. Some of them are pretty creative though. This one is called Arnold Schwarzenegger Plant, and it's objectively the best emote on Twitch.
No, it's
I
not.
even have this chat command, and what I'm about to say will shock the people that take things like this seriously.
It's verified by Twin Galaxies.
My penis isn't really 12 inches long, and Twin Galaxies didn't really verify to 1982. This is actually a penis joke and a Todd Rogers joke in one. How they spin these types
Todd Rogers got verified his Donkey Kong thing. By Twin Galaxies, and it was just his friend from Twin Galaxies. It was weird, you know, it was a weird situation. So that's clearly a joke referencing that thing.
types of jokes is insane. In one screenshot, I show some Chinese medicine that my wife got me.
Is this the racist thing? Are we finally there? Okay. Indications. Assistance to support male normal physiology and function may improve sperm quality, and count. Relieve symptoms of backache, dribbling of urine, seminal emission. Directions: 60 pills each time, twice daily. What? What is that dosage? 60 pills twice per day. Improve sperm quality. Yeah. We're gonna get my sperm into Doris's egg. Doris wants this Chinese shit. Carl Jr. confirmed. It'll be awesome. Chinese and Australian. Imagine their hair color. So many possibilities. Should be good. Half Chinese, half massive cock. Is this the racist thing? Is this it?
Because she thought it would help us conceive. After my friend mentions Chinese and Australian, I reply with half Chinese, half massive cock. So they spin this to be racist apparently, and claim that I'm saying this about my son, which makes no sense. We hadn't even conceived. There was no son, there wasn't even a sex yet. I could have been having a daughter. This has nothing to do with a boy or a girl or a penis. The joke is that my race isn't Australian, my race is massive cock. Again, it's absurdism. It's a long-running joke between friends, and notice the same person that I said it to repeats a similar joke back to me later on.
Hold up. There's more context. The joke is that Chinese people have small penises, but no, the medicine is Chinese. You're doing it, Carl. Crazy thinking, looking a few months back now. Massive things. Cock emoji. Fucking hell, that's pretty good considering your smaller audience in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, this month was big for me. Considering the size of my channel at the moment, that's fucked. Imagine having 100,000 subs. Did the cock grow massively along also this month? That's a given. The cock is always massive. I'm keen for this month. My cock is already at the physical max. Like, it can't get bigger or I'd die.
The speedrunning Reddit also attacked my son's name, who I mentioned would be taking his mother's surname because I don't associate with my father. They attribute the surname Wong with penises, and the oblivious racism on their part.
I guess it's important to understand that his wife's last name is Wong. You know, it's good to see white supremacists like Carl Drups being wrecked in the speedrunning community, but y'all, he may have named his son Maximus Wong. He may have literally named his kid as a dick joke.
Art is astounding. I named my son Maximus because it means the greatest, and he is the greatest. And those people going after him because of his name are just indescribable.
Oh, you literally actually did name your child that. You should not name your child Maximus Wong. Like, literally. Holy shit. Like, he used his Asian wife as... So wait, his wife is Chinese. So wait, it's not that the medicine is what makes the kid half Chinese. It's that his wife is Chinese. And he's Australian, which apparently means you have a huge cock. Okay. So he's racist for marrying his wife?
Astounding. I named my son Maximus because it means the greatest, and he is...
Yeah, the name is cringe as fuck. You do not name your child Maximus Wong. That child is gonna get bullied to hell and back.
The greatest, and those people going after him because of his name are just indescribably terrible. As a side note, in Chinese culture they actually say the family name first, and his Chinese name is Wang Chunhee. The lies continue. One person claims I was racist against the Super Mario Bros. Speedrunner, Lakuki, in a leaked Discord voice chat. This is entirely fabricated. Anyone in my Discord knows I never use voice chat. There has never been a leak, nor have I ever been racist or even insulted Lakuki. I really like Lakuki, and given that we are friends, he himself messaged me saying this was bullshit. A couple of bright sparks did ask for evidence, but of course, none is provided, because it's a complete lie. Another liar claims I asked for nudes in my stream, and again, I am left having no idea what is going on or where this is coming from. I would never ask for nudes, and if anything like this ever happened or was posted, I would never ever approve of that or let it stand. These obsessed haters love to intentionally take screenshots out of context and give them new meanings. In this screenshot, I mentioned that I'm married and have been with more women than some undisclosed party. Apparently, this is me bragging about sleeping with many women and having the regressive mindset that having sex equals quality as a person. But I wonder what the context is here, and I think the context might be enlightening. If you go and read the actual conversation, I was responding to this. In another GoldenEye speedrunner stream, he and his viewers were trying to make fun of my appearance, saying that I looked like an albino with cancer, and that I don't go outside. Well, the reality is that I am very white because I do have cancer. My body is covered in massive scars from countless surgeries to remove cancer, and I've had to deal with it my entire life. Due to my condition, I do try to avoid the sun, as recommended by my doctors. I'm not looking for sympathy or anything, I'm just giving you the context around my response. I would never randomly brag about something like that, nor do I think it's even something anyone should ever focus on. And those who really know me well would tell you that I value character more than anything else, not these superficial things. In this particular instance, however, I was taking a stab at less than reputable people for attacking me over something so juvenile and close to home. My point was that despite the fact that I look like an albino and I do have cancer, I've still done well for myself and I'm living a great life, because those things really don't matter. There are even more batshit insane claims, but I'll stop there. You get the point. Of course, everyone believes everything instantly, and the people making the claims know it. No one asked for context, no one cares about the context, they simply enjoy the feeling of going after the villain of the day. With all of this being said, there are definitely things I've said and done in the past that deserve criticism and I need to apologize for.
Okay.
Earlier I mentioned that I was in one of the screenshots from the R White Goose leak, and this is what I said.
Okay, here we go. And blacks use the word all the time and whites can't? In a hip-hop setting, or if they want to imitate the culture, dumb as fuck. I don't know if he said that. Yes, everyone here will agree it's dumb as fuck, but then again, so are most people. Yeah, imagine if whites said blacks, you can't use this word. You can't just go along and say your career is ruined, you're irredeemable, because they think that's actually a socially proper response. Okay, so this is the guy that got canceled. So he is apologizing for this bit, because this is him. This, we don't know who this is.
This is from May 2018, and we were discussing the incident where Kendrick Lamar asked a white fan to come on stage to sing one of his songs which contained the N-word.
That does actually seem pretty rough. What the fuck?
The fan didn't censor the word, was booed by the crowd, and eventually removed from the stage. At the time, more than anything, I wanted to defend the fan because I didn't believe they had any ill intent, and I felt sorry for them.
Yeah, this video is a roller coaster. That is a fucked up situation, yeah.
That they were put into that situation and handled it incorrectly. I attempted to defend this position very poorly by stating that it should be okay for anyone of any race to sing the lyrics in hip-hop music as they were written. Despite the fact that I did double down on this position a few times when challenged on it, I have ultimately come to realize more and more that my opinion on the issue, and especially the way I expressed it, was extremely insensitive. One of the reasons I was so defensive was because I felt as though my position was always mischaracterized, with people claiming that I was complaining that I couldn't personally use the word. But the truth is that I would never use the word, nor have I ever wanted to, and if I were in that same position as the fan I was defending, I wouldn't have chosen to use it. It was hard to accept the valid criticism when it also came with what I considered to be bad faith efforts to attack my character. But if we were to have a genuine conversation about the issue, we would probably end up agreeing. In any case, it is definitely.
Am I going to watch Muta Heart's video on it as well? We can.
Should or shouldn't find acceptable, and I sincerely apologize for what I said. Another instance where I reacted poorly was when I was called out for the use of the word Jap. For the past 15 years, myself and many other speedrunners have used the word Jap as shorthand for Japanese when referring to the region of the console we use to speedrun. There are 3 regions we primarily use: European or PAL, North American or NTSC, and Japanese, which we shorten to either Jap, JP, JPN, or NTSC-J. In early 2019, I wanted to create an emote based on the Japanese version of the game, because many people often ask why the Japanese version is used. So I wanted an emote that people could spam whenever that question came up. Obviously, it was going to be eggplant related, because that's the running gag on my channel. I created a censored eggplant and called the emote Jap, what we call the Japanese region of the console we were speedrunning. I didn't think anything of it, but out of nowhere, another person from the community blasted me on Twitter, tagging Twitch and accusing me of using a racial slur and making fun of the Japanese. This shocked me because it didn't even cross my mind that it could be seen as offensive or even as a slur. I became incredibly angry for 2 reasons. The first is that this person was trying to cancel me for an innocent mistake, and this issue of that word had never been brought up before despite them being in the community and seeing it used for years. The second was because this person had been actively hating on me and my viewers in Discord and their Twitch stream for a while before this. Therefore, I didn't take this as a good faith effort to remove content that could be offensive, but rather as an attack and an opportunity to take me down.
Well, how do you pronounce JPN? Like, NTCS, whatever that is kind of long. That is not the correct way of saying that. JP? Just literally just JP. Regional thing for Japanese that is used, but they've changed it to JPN now, and that's why. Yeah, no, that's, I mean, that's a ticking time bomb of a stupid thing to do.
Out on Twitter. This was before I had any platform or a noteworthy following. In fact, at this time, the person trying to cancel me had more followers. At this stage, I had not learned how to respond to public criticism in a mature way, and my response was horrible. Once I calmed down, I deleted the tweet and changed the name of the emote to NTSC-J, which is what it remains today. It was never intended to be a slur, and I reacted so negatively because of the previous interactions I'd had with that particular person, and also because this could have easily been resolved resolved in private if they had have explained to me directly how insensitive it was. Aside from this one incident, I haven't really heard anyone complain about the use of the word, despite it still being extremely common in speedrunning to describe that region. And I've even still used it myself in more private settings when describing which version of the game I'm playing. Moving forward, I will definitely retire it though in favor of something more respectful. Being able to respond to concerns from the public in a positive way is something that I have been struggling to learn over the past few years as my platform has grown, and I do think I've made a lot of progress. Even though in the past I may have gotten angry and been way too aggressive and defensive, looking back I still deeply appreciate the feedback, and of course it does help. Finally, there is a funny video of me going around from 2014 demonstrating an exercise to overcome social anxiety. The exercise consists of walking up to someone, giving them a compliment, and then walking off. Apparently this is me trying to be a pickup artist, but if you know anything about pickup, you'd know this isn't pickup at all. Conversely, it's my opinion that almost every single piece of advice given by so-called pickup gurus is unhealthy, and I wouldn't endorse it.
I mean, that does sound like a way of getting over your anxiety.
Confidence and self-esteem, and using honesty, integrity, and respect to build relationships. It is a funny video though, and a lot of you will probably cringe, so I will link it in the description for your viewing pleasure. In order to research videos,
also, like, to be a pickup artist, don't you have to, like, keep going after you compliment them?
Other speedrunners often, so it's a huge shame that many of them will buy into the lies that are currently being spread and will refuse to be involved with the channel. Everyone loses here, as the videos become less accurate, less informative, and more prone to mistakes. I certainly won't stop talking about speedrunning though. I've done it and loved it for over 20 years.
Yeah, I stop it every now and then. I'll be like, you know, I saw a dog the other day and I'm like, dude, your dog is adorable. May I pet them? I did that like the other day. And every now and then I think about saying something like, oh, hey, nice hat, man. And if like a dude is wearing, like a friend of mine is wearing an outfit that I think looks good, I'll be like, hey, you're looking nice today, man.
Smear campaign spearheaded by
when Mike was had his hair done, I was like, yeah, it looks good.
Trolls would certainly never stop me from making videos. To those who have been lying about me and my family and trying to use them as weapons against me, and to those who believe those lies and spread them without asking questions or considering the context, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, please go.
I would suck Mike off. Yeah,
Everyone
what of
else,
it?
I appreciate you. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Okay. Yeah. That was certainly a ride. He apologized for the bits that I was going to critique, the JPN thing and the N-word thing. Those are things that I would want him to apologize for. It seems like he is also apologizing regardless. It's not even really being asked for. And again, yeah, this has nothing to do with the charity video that we were watching. So I feel like that was definitely like just throwing hands. So you're talking about Some Ordinary Gamer, his video, right?
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Muta. I'm going to start you off with a question. When you donate to a charity live stream,
oh fuck, it's 38 minutes long.
Account and it goes to the charity. Do you expect that money to actually be going to the charity that you're donating to, or do you expect it to sit in a bank account for years? What do you think is the more logical option? Do you want your money to go that?
How do you ignore someone in chat? Don't know, actually.
Year, or do you want it to just sit in a bank account doing nothing to help a cause that you firmly believe in? Well, that's the question we're looking into today. Now, the YouTuber that we're actually discussing is known as the Completionist. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering
1.5 team speed. At least like
is one of the more popular gaming channels. He's been around for a long time, and he makes some pretty awesome gaming.
Yeah,
content.
1.5 is
what
fine.
The Completionist also does beyond make interesting gaming content is run something known as Indieland, an actual yearly event where industry veterans, independent gaming companies, big brands like Corsair and G Fuel, and some of the best influencers in the game all converge together to help raise money for charity. Indieland is there to fight against dementia. Now, if you go to the big donate page over here, you'll find out that they work with the Open Hand Foundation. And this foundation was founded to honor the memory of Karen Khalil, the completionist mother who ended up losing her life in a fight against frontotemporal dementia. And of course, all the condolences for sure. But when we looked into this charity, one of the biggest red flags showed up, and that was the Open Hand Foundation. Now, while it is a 501c3 charitable
This feels like
organization
normal
that's free, all
speed.
designed for public charity, we wanted to look into this organization with a much more in-depth look, because we found something a little unsavory. And by we, I mean Carl Jobst and me. We were working on the story together, and the actual results are very damning. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we looked at the Open Hand Foundation,
It sounded like he fully apologized for
the
it.
philosophy is, the more you
How do we
receive,
end
the
up
more you
watching
give.
drama? I just wanted to see what was going on with the completionist thing, and then it kind of kept going from there.
The more you give, the more you receive. Life gives and life takes. And of course, if you look at their donation, they say that your gift will contribute to vital research for a cure for this devastating disease. Now, of course, they list benefactors like the University of California, San Francisco. I assume it's from San Francisco. Typos usually aren't a good sign when it comes to situations like this. But on
I don't know about that.
their events page, they appear to have two events that help raise money for this charity, which is the Convenience Cup Challenge and, of course, Indieland. Which, ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to look even further into where this money that was raised by Indieland was going. See, in the news, you would just read that Indieland, for instance, in 2021, raised more than $100,000 for dementia research, which is crazy awesome. Over the weekend, annual live streaming event raised more than $100,000 for charity, organized by YouTube star Gerard, aka The Completionist. And of course, it's the same story that you'll find on other websites like Dual Shockers, which again says in 2022 they raised $80,000 for dementia research. And of course, these are massive news articles to see. It's feel-good stuff. But this is where I feel like these news sites
She tried to riz the police? What the fuck does riz mean?
should have dug a little bit deeper, because what me and Carl found was very questionable. All right, so how do you vet a charity yourself, ladies and gentlemen? To vet a charity, you go to any of their websites, and usually at the very bottom, you'll find something like a tax ID, an EIN number. For the Open Hand Foundation, it's 3008275510. You copy that, and you can basically go to the IRS charity lookup right here. So again, it's as very simple as going to Google.
Oh, this is
typing in
cool.
IRS lookup, and here you can see tax-exempt organization search. You click on that, and you put in the EIN number in this field and hit the search button. And that takes you to the Open Hand Foundation. You open that one up right here, and you can see a lot of their letters too. For instance, this determination letter that shows that they've been active since 2014. And again, this is...
Oh, hey, Fred. Unofficial owl raid. Welcome. We are looking at we're looking at the whole completionist thing, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And it seems like money just is... I have a chart. Where did that chart go? This seems to be it. That donators donate to the charity, and then the charity just holds on to it and they don't get rid of it. It's not going to the completionists. It's not going to the charities that are mentioned. It's just being held in a bank account. That seems to be the case right now. That is my current take on this situation. If Fred is around, me and Mike are going to do Lethal League, Lethal Company, excuse me, later. And Mike is reaching out to him to see if he wants to do that with us. Well, the unnormal part is that donators give money to the charity, and then the charity gives that to the thing that they say they're going to give it to. Like, usually that's, like, what happens.
This is basically them showing when they were active from, okay? So they've got their tax forms, their 990 PFs, which basically shows the money going in and hopefully the money going out. So these are all public records, and you can look them up for yourself right now. And we went to ProPublica, and they have tax filings all the way from 2014 up to 2021. So at this moment in time, me and Carl decided to look down the actual filings year by year, and we found a pretty massive discrepancy that to everyone we showed has raised every red flag imaginable. So back in 2014, this open to public.
We're also watching this on like 1.5 times speed because he talks too slow.
$33,000 in contributions. If you look at their operating and administrative expenses, they had nothing to spend. So that also includes contributions, gifts, and grants paid, line 25, which would mean money going to other charitable organizations.
Well, that's why we're actually looking up the information rather than just like saying random shit. Because like I'm not about like just taking a hot take without like researching. And now, so far as I've seen, the completionist has not said anything yet. So we can't get his side of the story yet. But we do have these videos. Some random person said that Carl was racist, so we looked that up. And turns out that he said some stuff that wasn't the best. We apologize for it. It doesn't seem like that he meant any harm by it.
For, Alzheimer's research, for these charitable causes. And of course, if you look at their balance sheets, at the end of 2014,
but like several people have mentioned, it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Non-interest bearing. That's important as well, because some people were like, is the completionist maybe just skimming the interest off the top or something? That, if I understand how this works, and I don't really, but if that's what that sentence means, then he's not getting interest from it. Savings and temporary cash investments. So this could, if he was skimming, then... All right, how about this? Online and boot plug, calm your tits. Both of you. If I have to start throwing around ban hammers, I will. Or even timeouts. We don't really need to get into that kind of fight.
$56 sitting in cash in their accounts. So then we go to the year 2015, and we looked that they made $60,000 in contribution revenue. They spent $27,000.
Well, I mean, we have no evidence to prove that the money is being done. Again, like, this is the chart. Like, donators donate money. The money goes to open hand. The money isn't going to the completionist or his brother. Just open hand continues to collect money to give to a charity that they have not done yet. That's literally the whole situation. And they've done that for 10 years, which is weird, but not, as they point out, illegal. I would say that, like, it looks a lot better if you give the money to, like, research or whatever. I'm going to put... But, like, that doesn't seem like is what's happening. And there is a significant amount of interest that's been drawn up over time, or inflation over time, but, you know.
From having $33,756 in their account at the beginning of the year to having $66,000. Remember, it's the amount of contributions they make minus their operating expenses. What's interesting is line 25. They paid nothing in contributions, gifts, or grants at all.
Sure.
They did, however, spend $28,000 in administrative expenses. Then we decided to go all the way to the year 2016, and the pattern became even more interesting. $40,000 they raised in that year. Then they went down and apparently spent $11,599 in administrative expenses.
They got better at that the year before. They spent $20,000.
How much did they spend in contributions paid? $0. And of course, you can see that at the beginning of the year, they had $66,000 that they started off with and $94,000 in the bank. So then we went to the year 2017. And if you can imagine the pattern, they made $31,000, they spent $11,000, still paid $0 in contributions or grants to these charities, and started with $94,000 and ended with $115,000. Then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, 2018 rolls. They make $113,000 in contributions, in revenue. They spend $14,144 in operating expenses. Then, of course, they still pay out $0 in contributions, starting the year with $115,000 in the bank, ending it with $215,000, $028 in the bank. 2019 rolls around. They make $123,000. They spend $12,394 in operating expenses. Actually, $13,029. Point is, they still spent $0 in contributions paid. That started them off with $215,000 that year, ended them with $325,815. Year 2020 rolls
Okay.
up, turn of the decade. $122,000 that they've earned in contributions.
Are
Again,
people
still
having
contributing-
problems with the video buffering? He's really going to do this for every year? I believe so, yes. I mean, the point is that it's been going on for multiple years.
$0 to these charitable organizations, but spending $6,140 in operating money. That started them with $325, ended them with $442. 2021 rolls by. They make $136,000 in contributions and donations. Donate $0 this entire year too. Spend almost $30,000 in administrative expenses. This starts them with $442,000, ends them with $549. And if you think I'm getting too long-winded, don't get me wrong. We're the last year, 2022 of their filings. They make $117,000. Then they somehow spend $11,000, but still contribute $0 at all. So again, this starts them with $549 and ends them with a whopping $655,000 in the bank. That seems about right. Indieland is raising $600,000. Obviously, there's a bit more money that they've earned from various other events and more contributions. But the point is, this is still money that's sitting in their account. Now, me and Carl actually started a conversation with Gerard to get his side of the story, and he confirms that the money is still sitting in the account.
To answer your question, Carl, I don't have an answer. You know, I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years.
We saw this bit before, but still.
Where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations about working with them. I don't really have a true answer for that. And that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. But, you know, again, it doesn't fucking matter. You guys are going to say what you're going to say, and I can't stop it. But the important thing is that all the money is still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board. Like it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that. Yeah, and that's the thing about 501Cs is that, like, if I did any of that, the minute I did any malpractice of that nature, literally the government would be like, hey, we're coming after you. And that's, you know, at least legally speaking, everything's above board. And I understand that the question isn't so much legality and so much more about morality and, you know, me advertising this event and showing people sponsors and all that stuff.
Now, I think it's quite interesting to almost make it sound like this is about to be some crazy...
As someone who lives under a rock, how did all this come to light? This video and Carl literally just, like, looked into it.
drama story, when in reality, this isn't some tabloid...
Yeah, it isn't about legality, because as far as I understand, and I'm not an expert in this, but holding on to the money seems sus. I would like it if that was an issue. I'd like it if that was a legal issue, because it doesn't seem right. Like, morally, it doesn't seem right, but morals and laws are not always connected. A lot of the times, what's immoral is not always illegal, and what's legal is not always, you know, immoral. Whatever.
We go for. I kind of find...
Like, I don't think that anyone's stealing the money, as far as we know. But it is fucking weird that it's happening.
Weird insinuation of that, a little bit insulting for me and my colleagues like Carl, people like CoffeeZilla, people like Barely Sociable, who do deep dives and investigative pieces on situations like this.
I guess what I'm asking you guys is, what do you want me to do as soon as possible? If it's like, hey, Gerard, we want you to shut up and take the L so we can make content, that's fine. If that's what you guys think is the way to go, to call it a scam, sure. But I'm not trying to scam anyone. I would never try and scam in honor of my mom. Like, this is... I would not be outward facing knowing that I can get raked through the coals for this.
This isn't drama. This is erroring at best at severe negligence, or it could go into actual charitable fraud. Now, this definition came from legalmatch.com, which I...
See, that I believe. I don't think that the guy is actually stealing it. Yeah.
Actually said charity fraud is when someone takes advantage of a charitable or nonprofit organization for their own personal gain. Fraud is
like, all that he really needs to do is find a charity that he thinks is acceptable and donate the money within the next, like, week or so, and then we're cool. Like, why doesn't he just donate it? Like, literally, yeah, why doesn't he just donate it? That, you know? I'd love to see Legal Eagle take this on, because this is something beyond what I understand. He's going over charity fraud here, so we can look at that in a minute.
Deception or misrepresentation made for personal
He's being picky about charities, but he keeps mentioning like that college, and then there was some other charity that he mentioned in those. So like, why would he mention those? What if I'm like, okay, like every year the completionist does this charity for UCSF or whatever it was, right? I had a friend, you know, I've got a friend who's got Alzheimer's or, you know, dementia or whatever, and I want to do something about it. You know, I know it's not time that we do the charity normally, but I'm just going to throw a check at it right now. You know, let's say that that was something that someone thought, and then they gave it to that charity. Assuming what the completionist is saying is correct, why is he still saying that that charity is good if it's not? And why is he shilling for it if he's not putting the money into it? So it's like, that's fucking weird.
Defrauding a charity can be anything from falsely claiming to be a victim of the disaster in order to get money from a charity, to stealing donations from a collection tin, to setting up a fake charity and pocketing the donations.
They're not pocketing, though.
However, fraudulent activity can also occur when people make dishonest or inflated claims about how much money they have raised or how much it has helped the cause. And again, the dishonest claims are ones that we're going to be
Okay, that actually sounds legit, yeah.
looking into now. So again, even with the legal match definition, one of the most common ways to commit charity...
But again, let's not just assume that we are lawyers now because we read something on legal... What was it? Legalmatch.com? Is this how you end up being a First Amendment... Or not a First Amendment auditor, what are they called? Oh, the Free Citizens Movement. The thing where it's like, you can't arrest me. I'm not driving this car. I'm traveling in it. You know? Sovereign citizen, thank you. Yeah, so let's not pretend like we understand the law better than we do. Let's not pretend to be sovereign citizens.
Fraud include pretending to be a charity or falsely claiming to be affiliated with a legitimate charity in order to solicit donations.
Yeah,
So
I
this
mean,
moment in
that's
time, this is
exactly
where
what
me
he's
and Carl
doing, though.
decided to look deeper into the indie land streams, just to see if they were being very up and honest about the definitions of this charity, and if the money was actually supposed to be earmarked and kept, or it was going to some
Also,
legitimate
please focus the
organization.
camera, my dude.
Let's listen closely.
Guys, welcome to Indieland. For those of you who don't know what we're doing, we're raising money for dementia research and prevention, helping victims who not only have dementia, but the families of those around them. It's obviously a very important cause. I could talk today, near and dear to my heart. I was 10 years old when my mom got dementia, and it's been a journey for me and my family. And so this cause is obviously very personal, and that's why we're here today. Bits, donations, subs, buy the shirt.
I work
buy
as a
the
tax
coin,
prep
buy
bookkeeper.
indie games, all
Chad
that
fraud is
stuff.
rampant. I believe
All of
that.
it is going to the benefit of helping others for this charity event.
So again, if that is a true statement, then the actual filings would reflect that. Again, we looked through every single aspect of their public filings and found that they didn't contribute anything. In fact, me and Carl even went down and actually got a comment from their organization, and it reads like this in one actual message that we received. Dear Carl, thank you for your inquiry regarding the financial activities of the Open Hand Foundation.
We've already listened to this.
And are glad to offer clarity in our operations and missions. So again, they actually said since our official registration, and that was back in 2014, we have been evaluating potential beneficiaries who
Twitch
align with
died.
the mission.
Great.
Entities that could use our funds efficiently and effectively.
Is Restream dead? Are we dead on YouTube as well? Did I lose YouTube? We're back. Okay. It's weird, but all right.
Without a significant portion being diverted to
YouTube was
administrative expenses.
fine.
We asked Gerard about this, and it pretty much seems like what they have said to us in writing matches what he told us in an interview. Whether it's UCSF or
Partner this also on our website because we don't have any other benefactors currently. Like that's why I was like, well, they're taking care of it, but nothing was ever brought to my attention. I just knew that conversations were happening between Alzheimer's Association of America, AFTD Foundation, UCSF started a new organization, I think called like Bluefin or Blue Group, which is like supposed to be their 501c part of their organization. So I know I have a paper trail of us talking to other organizations.
He sounds like legitimately distraught over this situation, and I'm not.
As early as 2020 and 2021 in an attempt to pay them what they were owed. And most of the conversations we had from some of the bigger orgs like Alzheimer's, they were like, look, if you're not going to pay more than 6 figures or 6+ figures of what they asked for, then you're just going to waste it. So the goal on the back end for my family that I've been told is like, we're just going to raise a bunch of money and then give it to one org and like make a bigger impact rather than just giving smaller donations that don't move the needle.
Now, I think this is a very, very dumb point in the sense that, again, bear with me. If I go to
I do get that logic. I do, but I would not be claiming that I was giving that money to someone if I literally couldn't, because they were like, we need you to give at least 6 digits or else it doesn't matter to us. Which, first off, what the fuck? PCRF was just like, we will take $1. I don't give a shit. We need the money to be able to help out these kids with cancer. You know? So, I mean, that may be like, hey, maybe go find a different charity, you know?
Charity right now. For instance, the Alzheimer's Association. One thing you'll see is they'll ask me to gift an amount that is as low as $35. Now again, if the idea was that a small donation was somehow going to be more geared towards financing this organization's administrative costs versus actually helping Alzheimer's and contributing to the cure, then they should just tell you, why the fuck would you donate $35? Donate $35,000 instead. That's going to matter more.
Yeah, 350,000, so it's 6 digits. But yes, I get your point.
Is again, like, who do you think is going to do the research on this anyways? Of course, it's going to go to salary for researchers, doctors.
I literally am about to like donate all this money today, and prior to that, earlier this week and the week before, and I've just been sitting here crippled trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because I felt like if I donated the money the minute you guys emailed me, it'd be a situation of, well, he's trying to hide it, and he's
Restream America services are having hiccups. Are we still having issues? PPP loans. What was that? Paycheck Protection Act? It was the YouTube, or I mean the COVID relief thing.
Admitting guilt by doing that, and I never felt that way, but I understand completely that you guys could easily argue that, and it would just make me look more like a scumbag. And you know, I just wanted, you know, I want to do right by you guys and what you think. When you guys got the email and I said, please tell us about benefactors, that was genuine, because I haven't found a benefactor that I'm completely happy with, and
yeah, it was small business loans during COVID in order to make sure that people were still getting paid. Companies wouldn't go under just because, yeah. I was in the completionist situation. If I was in the completionist situation, I would have taken the money regardless of what really happened, become a hermit, farmed, chewed up gum and cigarettes off the streets of New York. Sure, like you do with $600,000.
To a good cause in honor of my mom, and I'm upset that the conversations I've had haven't gone the way that I wanted. And I'm willing at this
Well, I mean, yeah, though. You know? Like, what do you think the conversations are gonna do?
point to just donate the money to whoever. I want it to go in the right spot. I don't want it to go to some...
Like, I think he could probably... I mean, this is only an issue because it's compounded for so fucking long. Like, he couldn't find a charity. Be like, literally just tell people, like, hey, the charity that we had, you know, talked about does not want to take our money unless if it's 6 digits. We want to donate the money the way, like, literally have this drama like 10 years ago when this first happened. I believe I've got it set to auto as well on here. The problem is there is no right charity. All charities have overhead cost. He keeps getting defenses. It seems like he's too worried about his image. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell exactly what it is. He could have avoided this by just saying, like, 10 years ago, like, hey, the charity we were raising money for, the charity we said that this money was going to, the charity that we thought the money would go to, they don't want it. So now we've got this money that you guys donated, and we want to give it to a good charity. Does anyone have recommendations? Like, that seems like probably you could have checked that beforehand, but I think most people would accept that as a thing. You know? And whenever I donate to charity, I do actually usually, or used to for a bit, post tweets of it going out as a cover to let people know that I actually did put the money out. I stopped doing that after a while because it felt a little virtue signaling, and that's not really what I wanted. But when it comes to charity, I guess it doesn't matter as much, but you know.
Doctor's salary or some expense bill for a massive organization that it's not going to do anything for.
I mean, that's the thing with charities, though. You're not going to find a charity that does not have an overhead cost. Your own charity has an $11,000 charity cost every year, my dude.
Probably going to be administrative costs. But it doesn't mean that charities only function when you give them a lot of money. In fact, a lot of charitable donations are just drips and drabs that add up to serious amounts.
Yeah, but then again, hindsight is 20/20. That's coulda, woulda, shoulda. What are you suggesting that he should have done? Like, what is the correct play from the completionist here?
And based on the filings, with over $600,000 sitting in an account, that's going to do an actual difference in the world. At least more difference than just sitting in a bank account anyways. Now again, Gerard,
I'm not replying to that person. I'm replying to that person that they could have made a YouTube video asking for legal help or something. Yeah, they could have done that. Like, I think that's what I suggested a minute ago. I was suggesting more of a tweet, but a YouTube video would work too. Sure. There is actually no interest on that money that we saw earlier in this filing. It is in a account that is not gaining interest. So we don't have to worry about him skimming money off or anything weird like that. But I think that if you, I mean, listen, maybe it's just me. I feel like I probably have like the social clout that if I told you guys this charity I was trying to donate my money to, it doesn't want my money. It's fucking weird. I don't know, guys. Like, here's the email where they said that, you know? So that obviously puts me in a tight spot because we've got this money. I need to bring it, put it somewhere. What should I do?
Gerard will tell us, how do you make this right? And again, instead of worrying about how the internet perceives you after watching this video or this news story, you should just donate the money to the charities that you've said. Going back to their comment, they wanted to address the regulatory frameworks with which 501c3 organizations like ours operates. We are subject to stringent regulations and are required to maintain compliance with federal laws. Our operations are transparent to regulatory bodies, including the...
And I don't... Yeah, I mean, let's just, like, go with his argument for a minute. Because, yeah, charities do want the money. They're just not giving it. I'm just saying, like... There's a saying in Russian, a thread for every person, a shirt for every naked one. Basically the same thing, a thread from every person, a shirt for every naked person, I guess would be the translation. Basically the thing about charities is even the smallest contribution helps.
IRS and are subject to review.
That is a good sign. Yeah.
To these laws. Should there be any irregularities or misuse of funds, agencies such as the DOJ would intervene. Dude, the U.S. government is not God, okay? Just because there's probably a lot of bad things going on, transparently to the world. Remember, the IRS and the DOJ are human organizations.
And the IRS is being defunded constantly. It eventually did get the funding in order to hire, what was it, like 60,000 people over the next like 10 years or some shit like that.
This probably isn't even enough money to show up on their radar.
Also, how many subs do you have with a camera that doesn't work? You have 3.8. Okay. Some ordinary gamer. Whatever this is that's going on with the camera, you need to fix that shit. Continue, though.
It'll show up on their radars now.
Like, I feel bad about the image quality of my camera, and I'm fucking not. I have under 100,000 subs on YouTube. I have under 1,000 subs on Twitch. You know? Like, I am not, like, big name in any way, shape, or form.
Reporting about this, but in general, just because you are a 501c3 organization doesn't mean that you are immediately in the clear. Obviously, the IRS should audit this after
his frames are smooth at least.
Any account
True.
that I've shown this to,
do I have chunky frames?
Red flags after red flags. Even in the year of 2015, to show you
only to face defunding again because people thought they were going to hire 60,000 people all in 1 year, and it's like, you fucking idiot, read shit. This is why we're here. This is literally why we're here, watching like 2 hours of video, is that way people don't say stupid shit. We actually look into what the evidence is to some degree. You know?
Is when it comes to expenses, they've literally put expenses in just a general bucket called expenses. $27,000 that they spent. Again, not really even breaking this down. You got your business registration fees for $50, your taxes for $425, but any accountant will tell you this is just an audit waiting to happen.
Yeah.
If the IRS sits down and audits you, they're going to make you break down exactly what $27,000.
When I have to do my taxes, that's like, I have to go through like fucking everything I purchased. Like everything. Here's a receipt for a box that I bought. Okay? I bought a box from a company here in town. Let's see. I bought, is it just the one? No, I bought 2 of them at a unit price of $4.48, with the amount being $8.96. That makes the tax, sales tax in Texas is 8.25%. That's 75 cents or 74 cents. So that means that I paid $9.70. I have a folder of this shit right on my desk. How do you not know where the money went? I'm not even a charity. I'm just a fucking guy who does this as a business. That's weird, man.
$1,000 in expenses are, especially when I looked up the expenses year after year after year. 2015, they spent 28 grand. 2016, they spent 11 grand. With such variations, the IRS should ask you,
you have to itemize it.
$125,000 and exactly how. Again, you should just be forthcoming and transparent. And I have no doubt that the federal government will probably want to look into this. And they should. And one of the things is, to compare it to another organization, this is the 990 filings of the Alzheimer's Association. And you can see instead of just writing expenses, they actually detail exactly where and how they're spending the money.
$1 million on lobbying, sure. The lot.
Just throwing it into one bucket and
$31 million on advertising.
Me and Carl a really wild question, okay? As we actively search for a partnership that meets our high standards, we welcome any recommendations you may have for our potential benefactors. If you are aware of any organizations or research entities,
this is a weird line, yeah,
that could benefit from our support, we are more than willing to consider them in good faith. Dog, why should we, the journalists, do your job for you? You're the charitable organization. You've just been holding on to money when your only job was to find who you should
I will
donate
say,
to.
Despite the fact that this guy cannot get a camera that focus, despite the fact that this guy speaks slower than molasses, this guy's video is a lot better than Carl's. Do you just call himself a journalist? I call myself an artist sometimes. I don't know.
It is actually wild that people are donating to this foundation and not knowing that their money was just sitting there the entire time. That's the real deceptive part of this.
I do
The
sell
entire
paintings
time we were
sometimes.
sitting here wondering, yes, our money
He's
is
more of a
going to
journalist than me,
dementia
yeah, I
research,
guess.
when in reality, nothing was given, it seems, according to these filings. And that money might as well have not existed, and the fight against dementia is not being assisted at all with your money if you were giving it in this fashion. And while, again, we talked with Gerard, he says, how can he make this right? It's donate the money to the charities that you said. That'll make a difference. If the money is there, which you said it is, and according to these filings, there are, just donate the money. So Carl responded with, hi, Jack. Thank you for your detailed response. I would greatly appreciate if you could clarify. Why do you have the UCSF listed as a benefactor on your website if Open Hand does not even contribute to them? Is UCSF the institution you referenced that you made contributions to before the official registration that you believe made insufficient progress? Good point to make. If so, why do you believe they made
Why is there like street noise?
insufficient progress? Would you also mind clarifying what you mean when you say you donated body parts? Lastly, do you believe that donors have a right to know that their donations have not gone towards dementia research as they were led to believe? Indieland has been running since 2018. Do you think it's appropriate that it continues to ask for money when it hasn't contributed any of it or even knows where the money will go? And this is the most baffling response from this organization. Carl, UCSF is acknowledged on our website as part of our historical contributions. As the foundation strategy has evolved, so is our selection of research partners, always with an eye towards more effectively advancing our mission. Now, again, looking into their filings throughout the years, one
Yeah,
thing is
honestly.
apparent. Everyone in this
Remove
organization,
group,
if you look
delete
at the
layer.
breakdown of their employees, it all just appears to be family members listed as presidents, directors.
What's talking about
VPs.
charity? This is about the completionist charity, not any of the charities that we've done through Vinesauce. Don't worry.
And secretaries, and they've worked 0 hours, meaning they haven't been compensated, but they also haven't done shit apparently according to the filings. So then they say the specifics of biological donations are secret, obviously. The Open Hand Foundation ensures all donors that funds are conserved with diligence and foresight earmarked for research endeavors that align with our stringent criteria for
Hi, the boy.
impactful use. The Indieland event embodies our mission
Stinky
to raise
boy.
both awareness and
No
funds
poop butt.
diligently and responsibly. Nowhere on their own website or Indieland's website have they written somewhere where they said, hey, listen, you can contribute to this incredible cause. Your proceeds go to charity. If you told me instead of going directly
Stinky.
to the charity that it was going to
So
your
yeah, again, just for people who are just getting here, what appears to be happening is that donators are donating to Open Hand, the charity, the 501c3 that Gerard put together in honor of his mom who died with dementia, and then that's it. There's no interest being gained on it, so the money doesn't go to the completionist. He's not taking the money out, so he's not taking the money. But also, the money is not going from Open Hand to the charity research, like stuff that it's saying, like the charity, the researches, any of the shit there. It's just being held by Open Hand, as far as the legal filings seem to be implying. What about those expenses? I mean, yeah, the expenses are sus. They're admin costs, yeah, and admin costs are real. That happens. Like prizes, lighting, a computer to be able to stream the games with, all that shit has to come from somewhere, and if they're going to spend that money in order to get that stuff, that's fine. So like, and like, inflation is bad. 10 years of inflation is bad. The amount of inflation that's happened since I was born, yeah, the amount isn't suspicious. Yeah, it's been 10 years that they've been raising money and they haven't been apparently donating it. They have like $500,000, $600,000 something dollars that they haven't donated the money yet.
own bank account sitting there collecting dust.
But again, he's
for
not stealing the
years,
money as
then
far as we
people
can tell.
Probably wouldn't donate. Okay, this is absolutely deceptive. Like the Open Hand Foundation apparently says that it.
Let's say that he personally is taking all 11,000. that's all that is the most that he's taking according to this. I am willing to trust that Great Sphinx knows what he's talking about on this.
It ensures the donors that it's going to be
Oh,
earmarked when they just say your gift will contribute to vital research for a cure.
Let me see if I can like be right over him.
If I gave you money according to your filings, it doesn't.
New
actually
lore
go
body
to the
just
research. It's
unlocked.
just sitting in your own accounts. That's what's fucked up. So while we understand the necessity of due diligence and charitable engagements, yes, that is the whole point of a public charity. The insinuation of wrongdoing on the part of Open Hand Foundation is both unwarranted and unfounded. Again, I wouldn't say that it's unwarranted and unfounded. Nearly every accountant that I've shown this to has seen the red flags. We conduct our operation within a bound of legal and ethical standards. Again, according to your filings, the money is there. All you gotta do is donate it to the people that you claim to be donating to. Now here's another glaring problem. If you go back to any of their filings, for instance, this is from 2016, you can see that when they check their organizations, they call themselves a Section 501c3 exempt private foundation. The problem with this is, according to the IRS, they actually have two designations, private foundations and public charities. Generally, organizations that are classified as public charities have an active program of fundraising and receive contributions from many.
The one of the guys that I played with earlier, I guess is a YouTuber. I don't know who this guy is. Yeah, 39,000 followers. Okay. He's followed by Alpha Beta and Onage. Germa's alt. This is not Germa. Is it weird that I kind of sweat frog when I see a prominent flag? Yeah. GG. I had a bad build and gunners hate me specifically. We should go again sometime. I don't know who this guy is, but I mean, that was fun. I fucking love that video. Anyway, I was wondering why I was getting so many comments. Where's the yeah, here's the post that Great Sphinx made. For those of you that want to read it.
Sources, including the general public. Again, that would be getting donations through IndieLand with like publicly viewed live streams from the general public. Again, that is one issue right there. I'm a computer scientist, so I really, really urge anybody that has background in tax accounting for charitable organizations, or hell, if the IRS is watching this, one of the things that Carl brought up to me very recently was the 5% rule, which again,
like I had fun. I'm just bad at the game.
The idea is the
especially with like veterans, definitely one of my worst classes.
Society, and they enforce it through Section 4942 of the Internal Revenue Code, which requires private foundations to distribute 5% of the market value, the fair market value of their endowment each year for charitable purposes. So again, I want to see how this rule is done, because according to the filings we've seen, they haven't actually given any money. They've spent money in operating expenses, but again, we need to actually see if they're giving their money to a charitable organization. You know, again, I want everyone professional in the industry to look into this, because this is very, again, when I said that this raises red flags to any CPA or accountant that I've shown, there's a reason for that. And again, before the organization tells us that they're doing the absolute best in responsible stewardship, I want them to explain all of this, because these are just a few discrepancies we found. I could only imagine what a professional auditor will find with this situation. Now, one of the red flags in this was Gerard even told us that he kind of knew about this, a couple months before. Before a while, he used to think that what was going on was money was being donated, until very recently he found out that no, the money was still sitting in the account, and it actually started somewhat of a civil war within this organization as to, let's donate this money now, because he's a public-facing figure of this organization. He's going to face a lot of the backlash.
I knew it was sitting there at a certain point.
It's not 5
and
o'clock
that's
yet.
what made me proactively go about it. Like,
Do you know when that point was?
I was made aware in 2021 where the money hadn't moved yet. And that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool. And that's when I got personally involved to move it. And
Did anyone?
2021 last year, 2022.
Yeah. Did anyone tell you that the money was going somewhere before then? Were you being misled?
No. No one told me anything. I assumed that it was all going to a charity, and I assumed it correctly.
But the reality is, if you even knew that, how could you prepare for IndieLand 2023 or anything? This is a glaring issue that you need to fix.
Yeah, he really shouldn't have done the 2023 charity. They did ask open hands. There was an email about that. It's right at the beginning of the video.
Long time ago. Now, from the statements that Gerard made on his streams for IndieLand 2020 and various other IndieLands,
That's who was
it
emailing
leads everyone
back.
to
It wasn't
believe,
Gerard.
realistically, that the money is going to some charities. Listen to this really closely.
Brother and I started a foundation called Open Hand Foundation that raises money for
I thought it
dementia
was going
research
to an
and
Alzheimer's
treatment
thing.
for
Yeah,
organizations
that's
all over the
the
world.
point. It wasn't.
We're soon going to be partnering up with the Alzheimer's Association. Currently working with the University of San Francisco.
Currently, we're working with the University of San Francisco.
Kind of one of their main funding support partners going into all of this.
So, working with the
Oh,
University
why they hadn't like talked to those people? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
of San
Like
Francisco.
why Gerard hadn't talked to these charities. I understand now.
I thought they were listed in your definition as a historical organization, and you were looking for other people.
Matt Pat
Again,
spotted.
the claims that are being made are definitely subject to review here. But the most important thing about it is going to be working with the Alzheimer's Association, which is super odd to me, because why do you have to run these long-term partnerships? If you're going to donate to the Alzheimer's Association, you should just be writing a check to them. If you're watching this stream and you hear that in your head, you're thinking, yes, the money that I'm going to be donating is probably going to go to these established charities anyways. Normally when YouTubers run charities, they probably just link directly to that charity via a payment processor. But in the case of this, it actually went to that Open Hand Foundation, and the money was just stuck in that account,
how we
not
did
being
it as
given
well.
to some of these organizations.
All bits, all donations, all super chats, all YouTube memberships, basically anything that's tied to donating or subscribing in a financial way to us is going to charity. We're not touching any of it. It's all going for a good cause. We're going to have a great weekend. We have a lot of games.
So when he says he's not touching any of it, when we talked to Gerard, he said that there was a couple of years that IndieLand actually dipped
And
into...
I prefer that, because if the money goes through my bank account, let's say I raise like $100,000, I earned $100,000. The money needs to go straight to the charity. Also, it covers my ass. It prevents exactly this situation from happening. The money goes straight to the charity. I don't have to touch it. It's gone. And then if someone goes, hey man, I'm not sure if you're actually giving the money, I'm like, it's going through Tiltify. If Tiltify has a fucking problem, I will be one of the last people to know about it, apparently, because no one has told me that Tiltify has a problem, right? Less nonsense, a lot cleaner.
So IndieLand is a separate thing from Open Hand.
Correct,
But
yes.
were you saying that Open Hand was paying expenses for IndieLand though?
Only some years, and no more than a couple $1,000s depending on the year. If it was too much money, just to make it right, because you're not supposed to really do that especially when you have no operating expenses. I'd only reimburse myself and I did it appropriately through the Open Hand when applicable, but not every year, and no more than a couple $1,000s.
And it does make sense. The first year it was 20,000, and from every year after that it was like 11,000. So it's like 11,000 to get people to do shit, and about $10,000 to buy stuff, like a computer to run stuff, whatever junk you need in order to have a charity going.
maximum.
If you touch any money from charity, even if it's for operating expenses, that's not money that's all going to charity. Not all of it at all. And of course, even when you look at the filings, $0 has been contributed or granted to some of these organizations that they claim to help.
All the money goes to the Open Hand Foundation, an organization that we started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money.
I do want to check something real
do
quick.
their thing.
So here he claims that he works with the people to help them.
Okay, I'm going to pause the video real quick. So he's got his phone on his desk here. I know no one gives a shit, but he's got his phone on his desk. It says 2:01 now.
...2021 raised more than 100 Cisco. Typos usually aren't.
My God, he actually did spin. Okay. 1 hour and 33 minutes. I was just making sure the continuity was there. Because it's like, man, it has been like 30 minutes, my dude.
My mom and all
He
that
has crippling insomnia? Dude, he's got like the same black eyes I do, dude. You see the fucking rings under his eyes?
money goes to dementia research.
Both of us need to get a
we don't
fucking
touch
nap
any of
in.
it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do their thing.
So here he claims
I didn't
that
even... It's got to be day out, because like you can see, this
he works
doesn't
with
matter.
the people to help them do their thing. They don't touch any of the money, even though, as far as expenses have gone for operating their organization, it's been up to $125,000, rivaling a net contribution of $0 throughout their existence to these actual people that they claim to be helping, which again is just fucked up.
We are raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia.
It might be
working
a
with
street
organizations
light.
like USF,
That's why you hear street noise.
Of America,
That's only when the
Alzheimer's
street
Association of
thing,
America, and so many more.
that
And there
Discord
he
background
lists
exists.
who he's working with, which again contrasts with their actual statement they gave to me and Carl, where they were just evaluating potential beneficiaries. Again, if you could name these people, why couldn't you write a check to them? $650,000 is a very, very, very good amount to start actually making a difference in the fight against Alzheimer's. And even if you didn't have that amount, even if it was like $60 that you raised, because you raised it in charitable funds, you told the audience who you were raising it for, who you were working with, you have an obligation, a legal obligation to donate to those exact organizations. And again, to also respond to Gerard when we were talking, it's not about writing a check to any organization. It's about writing the amounts for those exact organizations that you've been listing throughout the years. Because for anybody watching, for anybody looking at this who's ever donated to Indieland, you want your money to go to the places that you were told.
For me personally, this was a really important project for FlyQuest to sponsor. I've had people in my immediate family that have suffered from dementia, people really close to me, so I've personally experienced it. And so when this initiative kind of came across my desk, it was easy to approve. Also, just for context, I'm Brian Anderson. I'm the CEO of FlyQuest. I'm not sure
I turned off autofocus on my own camera for this reason, because it just does that.
introed myself here at the beginning. And yeah, great to meet everyone on the stream. Thank you so much for watching. And so yeah, just really excited to help you guys out, participate. Thank you so much for using the space. And also want to do a quick announcement as well.
Sure.
FlyQuest is going to be supporting this initiative, not just for the space, but we're also going to be contributing $15,000
Holy
to
shit.
the donations.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's fire it off.
Wow. Do you think he knew that the money that he gave from his organization just sat in an account when he popped the confetti? That's a question I want to see. What do you think the CEO of FlyQuest is going to think when he sees this whole situation unfold before his eyes? That's the most messed up thing in this entire situation, too. But ignore the fact that this is a CEO donating a lot of money to even average individuals who are giving money away in the chase of $2,000, right? From one user who said, Gerard, it was a pleasure meeting you in Frasier with my buddy Airdorf a few months back. Big fan.
With my buddy Airdorf? I think I might have met the guy who donated this money.
Thanks for supporting game devs like us. Dementia runs in my family as well. So Indieland always holds a special place in my heart. Distribute all the hot sauce y'all can handle. Protect Watts. Again, do you think this guy knew that his $2,000 was just sitting in an account instead of going to these charitable organizations? That's the real, again, I can't stress it enough. That's the part that hurts to see the most. But again, like I said at the beginning, it really feels like this is negligence at best. But again, it really takes the IRS to investigate this and see what these expenses and what this organization was doing. Because from the outside looking in, it's incredibly weird to see money being raised, but not distributed as it should be. It is a wild situation. But again, the real damning part about this is not the fact that this is the completionist. This is somebody that, you know, I do respect. I had respect for.
Yeah, like the game dev.
This is a situation where it makes me question every charity, right? Because again, I would never look into this because it's run on the foundation of his late mother, and especially covering an illness that I think a lot of people, especially people watching this video, know all too well. If you got elderly family in your life, I pray every day that I never have to see my mom and dad or uncles and aunts go through dementia. I pray every day because it's a really scary situation to be in. And that's why, like, when I hear charity money hasn't been appropriated when it should be for stuff like this, it burns me on the inside. This isn't like childhood tabloid gossip stuff. This is serious, serious situations that need to have federal agencies looking into. That's all I'm going to put into it. And again, Gerard, instead of thinking about the perception the public will have over this video or this news story that me and Carl are covering, you need to think about the fact that the money is there. It shouldn't have mattered if me and Carl sent a message to your organization and you were thinking,
Gerard is one of the people on the board of directors. He's also the face of the organization. He is a legitimate person to be asking this question to. I actually found this song recently and I really want to play it, but I'm pretty sure I'd get bonked for it. But if you want to have a song about dementia, let me find, which is a random fucking thing to call out, but you know, let me find the name of this song. Larkin Poe, Mad as a Hatter. Let me go ahead and I'm just gonna look for it. I'm not gonna play it. YouTube, calm your titties. This song goes fucking hard. This video, they're very good. Copy link, posting it. It's about dementia. It is a banger fucking song.
should I donate the money now? Is it going to make me look guilty or not? Look, at the end of the day, you messed up. But if the money is there, it's still not too late. It's never too late to donate to the charities you've listed, because that's the whole point of this. The whole point is, like the foundation says, to make a fucking difference. And making a difference starts with appropriating this money to the right people.
Okay, you're going to provide any more details?
Alive and well.
Okay.
Not money doesn't do anything if it's sitting in an account just operating payroll expenses or operating expenses for a charity that should be a foundation that should be donating. You know, if we hadn't covered this, would the Open Hand Foundation have donated in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? It's a question I'll ask forever till the end of time. Now, I don't want any...
This title is 100% accurate. They've been saying that it is a lot of editorializing, but it's true.
Anybody to walk into this and think charities are automatic. What's the most about the story is the fact that the actual subject matter, the charity, Carl, I wanted to believe this was some bad dream. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike.
Okay, yeah, I think it doesn't go anywhere. There's one more detail he brings up near the end. Shit. All right.
They gave me bad vibes. This is a YouTuber I respected. And I will tell you right now, before I looked into the story with Carl, I wanted to believe this was some bad
saw
dream.
Larkin Poe and Milan 10 days ago. They fucking slapped. That's the only song in there that I know, and it's fucking great.
Knows that this shouldn't have happened. And the only way to make it right is to fucking donate this money. That said, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I'm out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is all on Gerard and his company. Or not his company, but his charity. Like, there was a lot of filler to this episode. But yeah, I gotta go piss and I can get more thoughts on it. Give me 2 minutes. Because I need to feed the cats too, because they're bugging. I'll be right back. I'm back. Do I have water? Need water? All right, I'm back. Okay. Let's see. So, I mean, like, if all the money gets donated, it's weird, and I wouldn't trust him with my money. Gerard, that is. Like, I would not donate to a charity that Gerard is involved with now, because I don't trust him. Would you try food you're allergic to if you're on your deathbed? I have had peanuts. I have had soy. I know what they taste like. They taste like pain. I've been to the hospital. I've been to the emergency room because of soy before. So I'm aware of what they taste like. I'm not a fan. And the smell of peanut butter specifically gives me like itchy throat. And I think that's just psychosomatic. That I'm just like worried about, like, oh man. Water is round. Here's some water. Round, crisp, clean, filtered water from the tap. Borderline free. Happy water. Cold water. Cold water's my favorite. Like, not like ice cold, but just chilled. Peanut smell can actually okay, I wasn't sure if that was a thing or not, but... Have you seen the guy licking the beer bottle, right? Okay. I haven't. Yeah, this whole situation just seems like, best case scenario, Gerard just kind of fucked up. Okay, so House of Pancake says, I actually brought this up to my dad, who's a lawyer. Since the money hasn't moved, there's likely a chance that Gerard is going to get reduced punishment. If it comes to that, I hear that this kind of shit can get you up to 10 years in jail. So, okay. This was not a thing that needed to be a problem. This never needed to be an issue that got to this point. He could have donated it. He could have known that he wasn't going to be able to donate to that charity to begin with. When he realized that he couldn't donate to it afterwards, then he could maybe go on Twitter or on YouTube or something and go, hey, that charity just doesn't want our money right now. I don't know what the fuck is their problem. Here's the email from them. And then do that. And barring that working, then they could have gone off to like, oh, well. Yeah, I mean, like, if I had done a charity, I would ask you guys, what am I going to do? Like, here's the situation. They don't want my money. It's like, so, you know, because they didn't want the money, I donated to this charity instead. Don't ask us, ask an accountant. Right, yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, that's... Oh, you're saying if I was in that hypothetical situation, ask an accountant, figure that out. Who found that the money wasn't donated? Carl in that video that I just saw. They looked it up. Why they decided to look it up is kind of a different issue. transparency is super important in charities. Do you know how many charities we decided not to go with? Do you know why it took us, like, why we went with PCRF, the Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation, not to be confused with the Palestinian Child Relief Fund? The reason we went with them is because their overhead was low and we trust them. Maybe a tip off from one of the viewers. Maybe they were just swinging at random charities. I would love to actually know the answer to that question, because that is such a random fucking thing. Because there's a lot of charities that are not good. You know? There's a lot of charities where all the overhead is going somewhere. You have to be transparent by law if you're a charity. Otherwise, you lose your 501c3 status. And I would imagine that probably happens. If that's true, and again, I don't know the law that well, but did I get it? It doesn't have to be Christmas related. I'm just saying that, like, there used to be a tradition of saying, the camera's too low res to see. See, that's one thing I need to upgrade. I need to upgrade my camera, and I need to upgrade my backdrop. Because my backdrop, while it's like, hey guys, check out my art, buy my art, it still feels a little like, I don't know. 60 FPS? Yeah, I think this one's at 30 FPS. I'm not sure. So, yeah, I feel like this is, needs a Reddit shelf. The side of the art that's the most important. Like, maybe I should, like, turn the art so it's, like, facing or something. Do I have a link for my art? Yeah, colinmullin.com. COLINMULLIN. If you go there and buy art, I'll send it to you in a box. The box costs $8, or excuse me, $4.48. And the money does not go to a charity beyond me having money, which helps me specifically, who has depression. So that's sort of like a charity, in that I get money. Most people call that just selling things, where you give something to someone and then you get money as a result. How much did gas cost? Yeah, I should probably actually start using gas mileage as part of my business expenses. My tax guy is like, why don't you drive anywhere or do anything? Why don't you spend money? Why do you only have expenses? Like, why do you only have income? And it's like, well, I can stream a video game for like a month. A video game could be like $10. So, like, you know, there's that. And going places is kind of not how this works. So I don't, like, need to go anywhere. In fact, where I need to be in order to do my job is here. In my chair. I give him the dimensions of this office because this office is exclusively for streaming and doing art shit. Like, yeah, I have no friends and I don't do anything. Rev not min-maxing his tax write-offs and keeping Warhammer figure receipts. Bitch, you don't think that I fucking do that sometimes? Like, I do. I do a thing where I talk about, like, hey, look at this box that I just bought. When I did, what was it, the Beast box? I talked about what was the content of the thing. Does my guy... Yeah, but I did make a video about it. It was a video that no one gave a shit about, but I made a video about the Beast Box boss. I have been like weirdly in the vicinity of Alex Jones multiple times. Like within a few miles, and that's disturbing. Bro will min-max his armies, but not his taxes. I mean, I do my taxes right. That's why I pay a tax guy rather than do it myself, because I'm stupid as fuck. Being dumb is a problem. I've had people, like, back when I was doing a bunch of, like, marches and shit like that, there'd be people who are like, have you heard of InfoWars? I'm like, what's that? Oh, it's this really great blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay. I'll check it out. Have you heard of white people? Satisfactory got an update. You might want to return to it sometime. That's cool. Yeah. And then not continuing. The thing about doing like Occupy Wall Street kind of stuff is that some people are like, yeah, the rich, they're fucking us over because XYZ. And then some people are like, right, the rich, wink. And I'm like, no. Actually, like, rich people, they're not paying their taxes and they're getting bailouts from banks. So that's like, that's a problem. And the housing crisis is bad. So we should like do something about that. Yeah, and then they just continue to go, yes, right. Yeah. Globalist banker ruling class kind of shit. Yeah, it's like, bro. When I didn't know what that meant, they sent me a YouTube link and I looked at it and I'm like, huh? Like, I'd look at some of these YouTube videos and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck this is. Like, what is this video? Like, what is this video, man? I'm like, this sounds like some weird conspiracy shit. I'm not going to bother with it. Didn't even, like, occur to me that it would go all that far. You know what I mean? So, yeah. It's weird. It's weird. I'm going to see if I can find one of these paintings to rotate. Maybe that's what I do. I could, like, rotate one of these. Like, a particularly good one, though. And a sideways one, not an up and down one. This one? Is this one good? I'm gonna push that one into position. There we go. Now there's a painting there. It looks slightly better. It's like art. You can buy it from my website. That one I believe is from I believe that was when I was what was that? That was referencing a conversation I had at what if you stood one up on top of, ooh, maybe that's the way to do it. It is a self-portrait. Unironically. That's gonna fall. Does anyone have a link to the shop? Yeah, sure. It is www.colinmullen.com. And then, yeah, it's !art if you want to use that as well. You do a different painting every day, like talk about a different painting every day. Yeah, maybe I should have, like, on my BRB, actually have information or what have you. Instead of just, like, not. If I could make tapestry of it. Cycle it out. Just go to my website real quick. Why not? This isn't for charity. This is just me getting money. So this is my art website, colinmullen.com. You can buy paintings that still exist. I just saw that one. And that one in the bookshelf. Just some of these have already sold. Some of them have not. I talk about them to some degree on my art channel. There should be a new art video out this week on RevScarecrow Arcade, which is my art YouTube channel where I, you know, do a time lapse of me painting these and then talking about painting them. This one is hanging up in the bedroom. And I look at it all the time and I'm like, there's so much wrong with this painting. Like perspective and shit like that. Do I sell prints? I do sell prints. You can go to the website and you can click this link. And that takes you to my Redbubble where you can buy prints. I use Redbubble because the overhead of trying to actually do that shit is kind of a problem. Hey, it's that one. I believe this was like in reference to someone asking me something or like whatever, and I was feeling really strung out and hungover. And I was like, no. This one was a bitch to do. I love this one. This one is great. Very subtle, like, stuff going on here. Be the light you want to see in the world, and it's a guy throwing a Molotov. Very subtle. A lot of skulls. I like the skull motif. This is from Insurgency. This chair is actually screwed up like that. It's not a perspective problem. That's from a night mission in Insurgency. That one's good. That one's hanging up in the hall. This one is also hanging up in the hall. I did this one to announce the March on the Mice. This one is referencing, obviously, the spot in CSGO, or in Counter-Strike, in DE Dust 2, called Suicide. It's from T-side, you jump down, you get shot from the doors, which is in the middle of the painting there. But also, it's like, wasn't doing mentally well at the time. So it was like double entendre. Your art is so good. Well, thank you. This is from the video game Dying Light, which I was only able to play like once, and I think I did a bounty for or something. Because I got it for free, and then like I tried to do the online feature, and they just first person I ended up in a lobby with said the N-word, and it's just like, okay, great. This one is referencing the number of ambulances I saw in March of 2020. in the parking lot at where I was living at the time. It was near constant because of COVID. This one is referencing receiver. This is from a dream I had, and a general mood about this person that I fucking hate that was doing really well at the time. Like things were going right for them. And it's that thing where you look into what other people are doing and you're just like, oh man. He's actually like succeeding. This one is also about ADHD and depression. Didn't get to all the things that I needed to do. Never felt like I was on top of all this stuff. And, you know, despite the fact that I busted my ass all day, the sink was still dirty. This is a weird series of like mannequins and shit that I did. I don't really care for that one or this one. This one I don't really care for either. It looks kind of awful in my opinion. It was like a very quickie, like these were done like within weeks of each other. It's just wild to me. Like the perspective is fucked. And then there's this, you know, and like the beautiful like bits of lighting and shit. Like the full title is I Believe in Ghosts and They Believe in Me. I use Wix for my hosting, not sponsored anything. I just like him. I gave this one to Natalie because Natalie liked it and Natalie was doing a whole bunch of shit for me and helped with the charities and stuff. And I was like, fuck it, you can just have it. We're getting to like the beginning of Arcade. Again, you can just go to Arcade and it's got all of these like, you can watch me paint any of these. I'm bad at naming things. So I just name them like weird ideas that I have. That was a good game. Witch Hunt. This one is one that really messes with people's brains because they don't see that it's a person for the longest time. It's like a face. It's like a profile. Eye here, nose here, lips here, eye here. And it's just random newspaper we pasted onto a canvas. They don't see it. People don't see it. I brought this one to a gallery exhibit and people were like really trying to read the text, and the text is not the important part. It literally says, I'm not good with words, but I love you. Sometimes I just say weird, stupid shit to my wife. And what I'm trying to say is I love you, but I'm not good at words. Why be happy today when there's always tomorrow? I believe I was at, oh, this one, I was fucking depressed as shit and I went into the bank and I was like not in a good headspace, like at all. At all. Like I was in a real fucked up place. I went into the bank and the clerk goes, you look like someone who enjoys life. And it was such an insane fucking statement that I was like, what? It kind of snapped me out of it because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Wanted to try doing some stuff using, what's it called? Cubism. Does the story for the contest need to be spooky? Yeah. It doesn't have to be Christmas related, it just needs to be spooky. It's a horror contest. This one, I think I sent to the creators of Days of Defeat. How spooky were we talking? I would like to read horror stories. Egg. This was a few years back. Arcade. I put out videos on Arcade every other Sunday. And it was time to put a video out. So it was a Sunday, but it was also Easter, but it was also April Fool's Day. All lined up one year. I was like, all right, Egg. So this one represents an egg. For this image, I went and got an egg out of the fridge. And then I put it on top of the dirty laundry so that way I could have like fabric to take a picture of it on. And then I put the egg back in the refrigerator. So that's like a dirty blue shirt of mine. I asked my wife what I should name this one. She said James. This one is a theology test for anyone who looks at it. It's like my most weirdly homoerotic picture, and there's absolutely no reason for it to be homoerotic. I was just like, I like these. This is, I think, the first image I did for Arcade. There's some perspective issues. This is from PUBG. Jim, again, asked my wife what to name it. This one sucks. This one was oil stains on the concrete. This one is from my gallery show I had to do to get through school. And so this is the kit that I brought with me every time I went protesting, was this like bag that we had taped a cross onto because people needed to know that I was a medic in case if shit went down. I had a water bottle for myself, and then I had like first aid kit, shit like that. And then my Israeli, was it M5 mask to allow me to not die from tear gas. They never threw tear gas at us, but it was a concern. This one I really just wanted to reference Melissa by Merciful Fate, the album. If you look at the album art, it's a better version of this, essentially. I remember bringing this to a gallery show called Pancakes and Booze at Elysium, which is a dive bar. It was not a great gig. And this guy walks up to me and he looks at this and he starts crying. He starts crying at this image. He was really drunk. He was really drunk. He was so fucking drunk. This one is referencing an actual event that happened at, so this is a picture of, what is the name of this? Cafe Austin, I believe. It's like right, like within walking distance of City Hall in Austin. And at the table here, an undercover cop and his friend tried to convince me that we should set fire to police cars. And I was like, dude, no, come on. Here, sit down. I explained to you why that's not a good idea. Turns out he was a cop. This one I just felt like doing something weird. This one is about Texas. This is kind of Texas in a nutshell. Jesus and fucking nothing for miles. This is actually one of the cops that beat up my friends during those protests. One of my friends said he really hated it. She said she hated it because it looked like it was glorifying this guy. And this is back to the beginning, and it was about like just futilely trying to get a career going constantly and it not going anywhere. And that's everything I got. I need to add a few because there's been a few that I've done since that I haven't added. But that's my website. If you see any on Arcade and you want it, you can go and get it from, you You just email me and be like, hey, that one you just did? Because that would save me the trouble of having to put it up on the website, which is kind of a bitch. These would look awesome as shirts. I probably should push into merch and stuff too. But yeah, this is me and my work. I'd be doing I'd buy your art if I didn't live in another hemisphere. Yeah, I will say that it's gonna cost a bit to get it overseas. I'm willing to ship my art anywhere in the world, as long as America allows me to ship it there. I can't ship to Russia, for example, any conflict zones. So there's a few places you can't ship things in America because of freedom. So as long as you don't live in a conflict region, I can send you arts. Mike is streaming. He said, give me a few minutes. I believe the internet does count as a conflict zone. My North Korean ass can't buy your art? I don't think so. That's not my choice. I would send it to you because I don't think that... Are you going to do something together? Yeah, I'm going to stream the game that he's currently streaming. Let's go. Let's stream into a stream. Let's see what he's doing over there. Hey, dude.
Are you hearing music right now?
A new React meta has come in.
Yeah? That's wild. I'm hearing nothing. Oh, there we go. That'll do it. All right, now I got another question for you. Is the music doubled?
Now have Mike watch me.
Is it like doubled or is it?
I think
is it
he
weird?
probably just went live. Yeah, it says
No?
with Rev and Fred.
Okay.
Mike's struggling with his Elgato. What's he using an
Rev.
Elgato for?
Buddy, you're still live on your channel, right?
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. I'm streaming. You streaming.
I'm streaming, you streaming. All right, this is weird, bro, but you should get an invite. I don't know how. Did you get an invite from me at any point? Dude, do me a favor. Get in a Discord call with me. Let's make this so much easier. Can I call you? I'm gonna call you.
Hey, man.
Yeah, what's up, bud?
Not much. How are you doing, man?
Good. You sound like you're for ants right now. Don't do anything yet. Don't do anything.
Okay, here is my voice, and I'm talking the words.
Good.
You okay?
Good.
I had to turn you down a bit because you were on the loud side, but we're good.
Did you get at any point like an invite from me for something called the stream together? Did you get like you would have got some kind of invite through Twitch?
Can you send me another one? Because I didn't see it because I was
I'm gonna try. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. This is weird. Guests not joining. Invited guests can access the stream session via your browser. What?
Do you have a URL that you can send me or something?
Maybe. All right. So I think there's enough people here where I'm gonna just try to explain this.
Yeah.
This is a new Twitch feature for like streaming with people, like other streamers, that I'm in the beta testing for. It's a touch on the confusing side.
Give me half a second. I'm gonna
waiting for
deafen you.
guests to connect. Like you totally should have got some sort of invitation for something. I don't want you to go offline though.
Well, no, I'm gonna flick the switch on and off for YouTube, so it cuts the VODs.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, all right. So I gotta go disable the YouTube because I don't have enough going on right now.
No, you don't have to worry about it. I'm doing that on my own end, so that way the VODs are cut into separate
no,
things.
not to do with you. Nothing to do with you.
Okay.